video, I'm going to be showing you how to meal prep for your period. We are going to be making cranberry filled chocolates with rose water, kangaroo shepherd's pie with sneaky liver in there to boost up that iron, adaptogenic spiced cacao mix, sardine fritters, chicken broth, soft-boiled eggs and golden milk chia pudding. Hello again friends! If you're new here, I'm Chia and welcome to Ambrosia's Table. I make videos that simplify nourishing know-how so that you can eat a nutrient-dense, gut-nourishing diet and make it taste delicious. So meal prepping in general can be such a game changer, but meal prepping for your period I feel like is just the ultimate life hack. When I have my period, I like to prioritize nutrient-dense foods to boost that new blood production, foods that calm inflammation and stop constipation as well, so everything can just, flow. I like to loosely base my moon menu on the traditional Chinese medicine concept of eating warming foods. So while that literally means warming foods like a warm broth and things like that, it also means avoiding things that have a cold quality. So things like raw veggies, which are just harder to digest, or things like sugar and dairy. So yeah, loosely base it on this. It's just one thing to take into account. So simplistically, anything that has this cold quality is considered to constrict and obstruct and just have like a bit of a tightening effect on the body, and that's kind of the opposite of what we're wanting to do in this stage. So we're just wanting to allow the body to relax and release and let everything go. So naturally we'll be prioritizing protein for blood sugar regulation and satiation, so keep you full, and things like omega-3 and turmeric to soothe inflammation. We'll be including things like gentle fibres like chia to just keep the poop pooping. We'll be prioritising iron-rich foods, obviously, as well as plenty of cacao, because that's nutrient-dense, my favourite word. We'll be including adaptogens as well to just kind of give you a bit of a mood boost and just smooth everything out a little bit. At the end of the day, I know that meal prepping is not always possible, but meal prepping for your period really allows you to practice radical self-care and deep rest. It just means that you'll be enjoying hearty, delicious meals that make you feel really great. Even if you manage to make one recipe from this, I promise you'll feel like a boss. P.S. If you don't have a period, these foods are still going to be awesome for you. Okay, so we're going to start by making the cranberry chocolate. So we've got 200 grams dried coconut, then 3 tablespoons coconut oil, 200 grams dried cranberries, 1 tablespoon beetroot powder. This is optional, just gives it that nice colour. 2 tablespoons rose water, and half a tablespoon of vanilla. Just blend that up. And then I was using a tablespoon scoop just to make these little half moon sort of shapes. Just pressing it in and scooping it out. Alrighty, so we'll make some chocolate next to coat those cranberry balls. So you can just use melted chocolate, just buy a good quality dark chocolate, or you can use 250 grams of raw cacao butter and 80 grams of cacao powder. And you can just melt that on a double boiler on the stove. You want to make sure you put some maple syrup or some honey in there before you taste it. And I put 100 grams of maple syrup. So now I'm just going to dip these cranberry balls in some chocolate. They have been in the freezer, so that will help the chocolate set a bit better. And back into the freezer. I'm just going to use the leftover to make some chocolate bark, some cranberries and almonds, and of course rose petals. So you can just use the whole amount, like the 250 grams, just only making the chocolate bark if you don't feel like making these balls. They're a bit more work, but they are so worth it. So you can just make sure you save a little bit of chocolate to drizzle over the top, and some more rose petals. Okay, let's make some power cacao. So this is a pre-mix, so we're just going to start with 10 tablespoons of raw cacao powder then 3 tablespoons of cordyceps mushrooms, and 3 tablespoons of ashwagandha, 1 teaspoon of cardamom, 2 teaspoons of ginger powder, and 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper if you like it spicy. I also like to add 5 tablespoons of collagen as well, which acts as a creamer and makes your hot chocolates nice and frothy. On to our golden milk chia pudding. So the ratio for chia pudding is 1 cup of liquid to 3 tablespoons of chia. So I'll be using 1 can of coconut cream and the rest water to make up 4 cups of liquid in total. And I'll be using some fresh ginger, but you could use powdered ginger as well. And I've got 1 kaffir lime leaf in there, and 2 teaspoons of turmeric, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, a pinch of salt as well. And 4 tablespoons of honey. Make sure to pop some black pepper in there because it helps with the absorption of the turmeric. Just strain that quickly. And popping in those 12 tablespoons of chia seeds. Transfer to some little ramekins or cups. You could even use jars as well, and then you've got a lid. And chia pudding actually freezes really well too, so that's always good to know. To get the perfect soft-boiled egg, place your eggs into some gently boiling water and leave them for 6 minutes before putting them in an ice bath or running them under cold water. That way it just pauses them at that perfect point where they're just jammy and runny. Just like that. These are perfect for adding into broth bowls or in salad or on toast or any way you can imagine. Okay, so we're just going to make a simple chicken stock. So I'm just popping a couple of carrots in here. These are some ones that have gone yucky, but it doesn't really matter. I've got 2 chicken frames in the pot already and an old broccoli stalk. You can really put anything in the broth because we're going to be draining it out. Put some celery for flavour, some onion and garlic too. You don't actually have to peel the skins of the onions off if you want to, because like I said, you're going to be draining the broth. Pop some hot water, a little bit of salt and pepper. And I normally use apple cider vinegar. I just didn't have any at the moment. It smells good already. Just pop that on high and leave it for about 6 hours or more. Now we're going to do some potatoes. So give them a scrub. I think I did about 10 big potatoes. Now you can skip this step if you want, you don't need to peel them, but I just like it because it makes them a bit creamier. Just chop them up into roughly even sizes. And just boil them until they're not too mushy but just perfectly cooked, and drain them. So we're going to use these for the sardine fritters and also for the shepherd's pie. So this is the collagen I didn't have on the first day, but just adding in those 5 tablespoons into our hot chocolate mix. And I like to measure out a cup's worth. That also gets the water down to 80 degrees. 2 tablespoons of our premix and a little bit of cream or coconut cream, some honey, and give it a whiz. Oh, such a good alternative to coffee as well. And that cacao is so good for relieving cramps. It's really nice and warming and delicious. Alright, let's make our shepherd's pie. Start with some onion and garlic. Just gonna fry that in ghee. I think I used about 4 carrots, 1 zucchini. You could use anything. You could even use eggplant and lentils if you wanted to make it vegetarian. I'm gonna use kangaroo and chicken livers as well to boost that nutrient density. Pop some nutmeg in there, maybe about a teaspoon, and about 500 grams of kangaroo mince. You could use any mince there. A little bit of lard because kangaroo mince is very lean, and about 80 grams of liver. So that's a 20% ratio. Adding in all of those veggies. And before I added the veggies in, I did brown the meat and the onions for quite a while, so good to know that. Okay, so we've got about a cup worth of grated zucchini that I've squeezed the juice out just with my hands, half a red onion, some really yummy sardines, and 1 egg. Just gonna give that a mush. And I've put about a handful of olives in there, and about a cup of our boiled potatoes. I'm actually making this in the container just to save on dishes. Some fresh herbs, some herbamare and a little bit of garlic powder. Don't forget to stir your shepherd's pie. And a bit of salt and pepper. And we're done, woohoo! Alright, so add a couple of cans of tomato, bit of balsamic vinegar, sprinkle of ground clove, smoked paprika, probably about a tablespoon of paprika, and some fresh oregano. So I'm just adding some yogurt, maybe about half a cup of yogurt, to the rest of the potatoes, salt and pepper, and a bit of butter if you want to. Place your shepherd's pie base into a baking dish and top it with our yogurt potato mix. Can sprinkle it with a bit of cheese too. Pop it in the oven. I cooked it at 180 for 20 minutes. Alright, so that was a bit wet, so I added 2 tablespoons of coconut flour and that gave it a perfect consistency. Just dried it up a little bit. You could probably use any flour. Coconut does dry it up in a very good way. So I'm using my mayonnaise here, which is such a yummy recipe. You can find it, I'm going to post it on my IGTV. So pop over to Insta if you want the recipe for that. Oh my gosh, delicious! Now if that's not comfort food, I don't know what is. It's so good because I just popped about half of it in the freezer and got so much left. So now we're just going to drain our chicken broth. Alright lovelies, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more goodness on your screen. Okay, so tell me in the comments what recipe you're most excited to try. I know you'll probably be tempted to skip this, but just know that if you leave a comment, I will literally do a happy dance. So next week, we've got a really funny video that I made with my friend. my friend Jorge, and he is like a natural skincare specialist, so he's going to show you how to make natural toothpaste and a really great matcha clay face mask as well. So make sure you don't miss that video, so hit the bell button. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you next Sunday.